So today we're moving ahead in the 25th chapter of the third canto, entitled The Glories of Devotional Service. And we did 34 yesterday, or rather on Thursday. And today we'll do text 35. Call and response. Krishna-ki.
It's not on the screen. Amba
Santaha Prasanna Vaktra Aruna Lochanani Rupani Divyani Varapradhani Sakam Vacham Sprihaniyam Viranti Ashyanti te me ruchirayanam yam basanta
Ashyanti te me ruchiranyam bashanta
Prasanna lochana
Asana bhakraguna lochanani
Rupani divyani varapradani
Rupani divyani varapradani
Sakam vacham Sprihaniyam viranti
Sakam vacham sprihaniyam vadanti
Ashyanti te me ruchirayanam basanta
Ashyanti te me ruchiranyam रुचिरन्यं वसन्ता
प्रसन्नवक्त्रानुनलोचनानि
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वरन्ति
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरां वसन्त
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरन्यं वसन्ता
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिराणि अम्बसन्ता
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरन्यं वसन्ता
प्रसन्नवक्त्ररुणालोचनानि
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
साकं वचं स्पृहायं वदन्ति
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
Prashanti te me ruchiranyam vasanta
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरन्यं वसन्ता
Prasanna vajralochanani
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
Rupani divyani varapradani
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
Sakam vacham spyaniyam vadanti
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरन्यं वसन्ता
Prashanti te me ruchiranyam vasanta
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरन्यं वसन्तः
पश्यन्ति ते मे रुचिरन्यं वसन्ता
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
प्रसन्नवक्त्रारुणलोचनानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
रूपाणि दिव्यानि वरप्रदानि
साकमवाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
साकं वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
Hare Krishna.
Pashyanti te me vikarani ampasantaha
Prashanti te me ruchiranyam vasanta
prasanna vagravanya lokanani
Prasanna vajralochanani
rupani divyani varapradani
Divyani varapradani
sakam vakam sprihani yam vadanti
Sakam
वाचं स्पृहणीयां वदन्ति
That's everyone.
पश्यन्ति
पश्यन्ति
सी ते मे रुचिराणि
रुचिराणि
beautiful Allah
Allah
All Mother
O Mother
Santaha
Santaha
devotees, Prasanna,
Sana,
smiles,
smile,
Vatra,
Atra,
face, Aruna,
Aruna,
like the morning sun,
like the morning sun,
Lochanani,
Krishnani,
eyes, Rupani,
Rupani,
forms, Divyani,
Jnani,
gentle, Varapradani, benevolent, Sakam, with me, Vacham, words, Sprihaniyam, favorable, Vedante, they speak. Translation. O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form, with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. Purport. Mayavadis and atheists accept the forms of the deities in the temple of the Lord as idols. But devotees do not worship idols. They directly worship the personality of Godhead in His Archa incarnation. Archa refers to the form which we can worship in our present condition. Actually, in our present state, it is not possible to see God in His spiritual form because our material eyes and senses cannot conceive of a spiritual form. We cannot even see the spiritual form of the individual soul. When a man dies, we cannot see how the spiritual form leaves the body. That is the defect of our material senses. In order to be seen by our material senses, the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts a favorable form, which is called Archa Vigraha. This Archa Vigraha, sometimes called the Archa Incarnation, is not different from Him. Just as the Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts various incarnations, He takes on forms made out of matter, clay, wood, metal, and jewels. There are many Shastric injunctions which give instructions for carving forms of the Lord. These forms are not material. If God is all-pervading, then He is also in the material elements. There is no doubt about it. But the atheists think otherwise. Although they preach that everything is God, when they go to the temple and see the form of the Lord, they deny that He is God. According to their own theory, everything is God. Then why is the deity not God? Actually, they have no conception of God. The devotee's vision, however, is different. Their vision is smeared with love of God. As soon as they see the Lord in His different forms, the devotees become saturated with love, for they do not find any difference between the Lord and His form in the temple, as do the atheists. The smiling face of the deity in the temple is beheld by the devotees as transcendental and spiritual, and the decoration of the body of the Lord is very much appreciated by the devotees. It is the duty of the spiritual master to teach how to decorate the deity in the temple, how to cleanse the temple, and how to worship the deity. There are different procedures and rules and regulations which are followed in temples of Vishnu, and devotees go there and see the deity, the Vigraha, and spiritually enjoy the form, because all of the deities are benevolent. The devotees express their minds before the deity, and in many instances the deity also gives answers. But one must be a very elevated devotee in order to be able to speak with the Supreme Lord. Sometimes the Lord informs the devotee through dreams. These exchanges of feelings between the deity and the devotee are not understandable by atheists, but actually the devotee enjoys them. Kapila Muni is explaining how the devotees see the decorated body and face of the deity, and how they speak with him in devotional service. Pashanti te me ruchiranyanam yambasanta prasanna vaktraruna lochanani rupani divyani varapradani sakam vacham sprihaniyam vadanti. O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form, with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for being here. If anybody would like to add something at any point, just please raise your hand and we'd love to exchange. So, Kapila Dev is continuing his sublime instructions about devotional service and the pure devotees to his mother Devahuti. And he calls her Amba. So I'd like to see this word here briefly. Amba, O mother. So it's a type of address for one's mother or family member. So, oh my mother, right? And it's amazing because he's teaching her devotional service, but he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's also came from her womb. So it's very sweet that actually, these verses that Kapila Deva is describing to Devahuti actually apply to her also. And she's just looking upon the smiling face of Kapila Deva, who's giving her instructions. And she's actually speaking favorably with Kapila Deva and asking submissive, humble inquiries. I've been thinking about this point, about talking favorably, and actually there are some different references. There's one reference which describes how that everyone is happy when you speak to them with sweet words. So why shall we be a miser and speak to them harshly? And actually, it's very intelligent actually, because nobody likes to be harangued or bullied, and if we speak the same thing with a gentle, demeanor, then we can actually become more effective communicators, because nobody will take us wrong. And we can even speak we can have disagreements with somebody. We can say, actually, my dear sir, I do not agree with you. But they cannot be offended because, I'm not claiming by my behavior, I'm not insinuating that, he is actually subordinate to myself, and that his opinions are actually worth less than my opinions. I let the opinions speak for themselves, or the thoughts. And actually, especially with the superior, it's stated in the Bhagavad Gita purports, especially Prabhupada describes how one should not even offer a verbal argument with a superior. And this is mentioned in relation to Arjuna with Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya, who actually became his mortal enemies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And so Arjuna was saying, how can I fight with such aggressors who are my worshipable superiors, my gurus and my fathers, my uncles, So actually Prabhupada supported that mood, that actually this is the proper moral codes, that one should not even offer a verbal argument, what to speak of actually fight him, So this is the Vedic culture. So especially with the spiritual master and the representatives of the spiritual master, then we should talk favorably. And why is this? Because we're practicing how to speak favorably with Krishna. And this is actually the business of the devotees. They're actually so eager. They always see the smiling face of my form. With eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. So benevolent, look up this word real quick. It means well-meaning and kindly, or charitable. Right? Beneficio. Beneficio means to benefit somebody, right? Benevolo, right? So benevolent means kind, merciful, giving some benedictions. His forms are always ready to give benedictions. He himself is always eager to give benedictions to his devotees. And his various different forms are approached by the devotee in various different moods, right? Like Prabhupada had instilled the worship of Lord Nrsimhadev in the temple. Nrsingham adim sharanam prapade. We surrender unto Nrsimhadev, and in the mood of, as he has given, in the mood of Prahlad Maharaj, that we be completely satisfied with devotional service. In the 5th canto, there's wonderful prayers which describe the devotee asking to become free from all material desires. And Prabhupada described how it is described that Prabhupada wanted to make sure that the movement of ISKCON is actually protected. Therefore, we daily worship Lord Nrsimhadev a few times, and we sing prayers to him, and we're very happy to see him. And we know Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagarisha Hare. So Keshavadhrita Narahari Rupa, that Keshava, I'm actually worshipping that Keshava whom has taken the form as Nrsimhadev. So Jayadev Goswami is actually singing about Krishna. Who is the source? Who is the avatari? Who is the source of all the various Dash avatars? That is Krishna, Keshava. So Jayadev Goswami is a perfect example. He is meditating and composing amazing verses in glorification of the various avatars of Krishna. And we also relish such songs following the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya and Srila Prabhupada. So I want to bring a few references that have been recently. So this is Lord Nrsimhadev from New Vrindavan Dham. He's amazing. Jai Prahlad. And this is a. So I'll talk about the forms first. There's a few things that I saved recently that are around this point, and I'll come back to. Yeah. So let us sing this verse. It's very nice. It's from the Srimad Bhagavatam, just in a few verses, a few chapters. Ha samharir anvatnata kila loka tivra shoka shusagara vishoshanam. Oh, this is a different verse. We'll do it in the Brahma Samhita style. Ha samhare avanata kila loka tivra shoka shusagara shoshanam atyudharam somhohanaya rachitam nijamaya yasya brumandalam munikrite makara dvajasya. A yogi should similarly meditate on the most benevolent smile of Lord Sri Hari, a smile which, for all those who bow to him, dries away the ocean of tears caused by intense grief. The yogi should also meditate on the Lord's arched eyebrows, which are manifested by his internal potency in order to charm the sex god for the good of the sages. Hari, Hari! So this is from Govardhan Eco Village, and Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was meditating on such topics. And he gave darshan of Mahaprabhu. Amazing. So we are very, very lucky in ISKCON. We have a culture of deity darshan culture. This is not normal. It's not mundane. This deity darshan, pictures flying around the internet, and devotees becoming obsessed with them and putting them everywhere, all over their house. This is exactly what Lord Kapila Dev is talking about. We must associate with the form of the Lord. Else how will these silly eyes be purified? And actually the eyes of somebody who do not see the transcendental form of the Lord are like the eyes on the peacock's feathers. They don't work. So then there's another one. This is a different one. Yeah. Let me see here. There's another one that I recently found. Sometimes I do different research and things. Okay. So then I want to bring up the next point, which was talked about, which was about speaking favorably with the Lord. So this is a cool quote. This is from probably from... Anyway, I don't have the reference exactly. So it says, disagreement is not wrong. Robust discussion is not wrong. To think we are always right is wrong. So this is actually part of the nature of being an individual, is that we are getting different intelligence from the Lord. So our intelligence is working in a certain manner, and it's discriminating in a certain manner, and somebody else has a different perspective, and that's what makes a team. That's what makes a team, is that it's not just everybody is the same, but we have the same goals, but we're individuals who have our separate intelligence. So the idea is that if we think we're always right, then we'll not be able to speak favorably with anybody, right? And actually, this is this is the issue that many neophytes experience, is they think that they're right, and therefore all their relationships, even with seniors and peers especially, are a little bit dysfunctional, you know, because we're always trying to share our opinion as if it's more valuable than their opinion, which is generally not how a conversation, a healthy conversation develops, even without the concept of spiritual authority. When we take the concept of spiritual authority, we have, that we should approach the spiritual master, right, with submission, with submissive inquiries, with service. Pariprashnena sevaya, pranipatena, right? We should come with this pranipatena, this respect, and deferring, due deference, with due respect, we go to the spiritual master and his representatives. And actually, that's why we actually practice calling even our own God brothers Prabhu, because they are actually representatives of the spiritual master. And the spiritual master is so elevated, he sees his own disciples as representatives of his spiritual master. So Srila Prabhupada would say, actually all of you have been sent by my Guru Maharaj to help me fulfill his order. Therefore, I'm actually indebted to you, and you are actually my Prabhus, basically. You can find the lecture that I'm referring to. He spoke that in LA. And actually many times, he gave credit to his disciples as being personally sent and associates of his spiritual master. Right? So to disagree and to have a discussion, right, is not wrong, but if we think we're always right, then we're proud. We're proud. And pride is connected very deeply with entitlement. And we're not actually entitled to anything at all. Even service is causeless. We don't deserve to serve Krishna, but we get to serve Krishna. I deserve, a lot of punishment for my misdeeds. That's what I deserve. And that's actually a mood which is expressed by Lord Brahman, the 14th chapter of the 10th canto, and he says that I actually understand. I should be getting much, much worse than I'm getting now, even though I'm suffering. I'll take this suffering as your mercy just to rectify my behavior and my attitude. So, speaking in a way which does not offend, which is pleasing, right, which is beneficial. These are austerities of the tongue, of the speech. These are mentioned by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. It's also referenced that there's other Vedic references which means that you should speak the truth only in a palatable way. Though this discussion, or there's discussion within the Vaishnava circles about this verse and its all-pervasiveness or lack of all-pervasiveness, and Prabhupada has actually discussed that when the truth needs to be spoken, right? The truth of devotional service is so important that in order to impress upon the fallen conditioned souls, then one may be inspired to speak harshly with them, right? And the devotee feels bad about it in the sense that they usually apologize. And they say, like Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada said, in the course of my preaching the absolute truth, the glories of Sri Krishna, I actually probably offended a lot of people. I spoke harshly with them and they misunderstood me, therefore they were offended even though I was trying to save them. So I hope they understand one day very soon. You know? And Prabhupada also, he actually prayed, and he actually begged forgiveness from his godbrothers that he may have spoken harshly to or harshly about them. Right? At the end of his life, he felt very sorry. This does not mean that he spoke improperly. You know? This does not mean that he actually made a mistake and that he did something that Krishna didn't like. No, but it means that even in spite of doing the right thing for Krishna, the devotee still takes the blame as if maybe something was wrong that I did. You know? So this is the sensitivity of the Vaishnava. All of this is meant to help us revive this favorable speech with the Lord. You know, all of our dealings with the devotees are actually very tightly connected with our relationship with Krishna and the holy name. Trinadapi sunichana, tororapi sahishnana, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. If we have this that verse speaks about being humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, ready to offer all respects to others and expecting nothing of respect for myself. In that state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly, which is what was discussed by Kapila Deva just in the last verse. They're always glorifying the Lord. And Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, they're always glorifying Krishna's personal names. So, how do we get to that point? By a culture of humility, you know? By a culture of tolerance, by a culture of respect, you know? And a culture of pridelessness. So, we have to practice with the devotees, and we should practice with the Lord. So we say prayers in the temple in a regulated way, and we can also have a personal exchange with the Lord in a respectful and appropriate attitude. Not that we try to jump up and say, "Hey Krishna, come on man, what's going on?" You know? You're messing up. That's not our level. Some devotees, they are on that level. Mother Yashoda says, "Hey, why are you acting like this? Get it together. I'm going to punish you." You know? But for us, we hardly have respect for the Lord. So we have to work on that platform. So we respectfully, favorably, favorably means Krishna likes it. So Krishna likes when Mother Yashoda and the gopis actually gives him some hard time. But if we try to give him a hard time without that relationship of intimacy, without deserving that type of intimacy, then it won't be favorable. It'll be unfavorable. And that's called sahajya. When we try to go too high, too fast, and actually the Lord doesn't like it, He's not comfortable with it. He'd prefer we didn't act that way right now. But I think that Krishna likes it. Or I don't care if Krishna doesn't like it or not. That means it's for me. It means it's materialistic. Right? So thank you everybody for tolerating me. We pray, if Shri Shri Gaura Nitai so desire, that we can also realize this verse and this very life, and we can worship those constantly who have realized this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. Thank you for considering our request. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sorry, I didn't leave the time. Would anybody like to say anything now? Yes, Bhadrachara Prabhu.
So there is an analogy which comes to my mind that you have to be submissive, you have to submissively inquire and serve the spiritual master. So the attitude should be like this. Analogy explains it, that there was a time when a disciple went to the spiritual master, and he just kept on saying, when the spiritual master was trying to explain him or teach him, "Oh, I know this, I know that, I know this." So the spiritual master was very clever. He said, "Okay, fine." So after about half the time that was over, they said, "Okay, let's just take a break." And there were 2 glasses where he was going to put milk for both of them. So the spiritual master took the milk and he just kept on pouring till the whole glass was full, and it started pouring out from the glass. And the disciple is saying, "What you're doing, this pouring out from the glass, you can't see." He says, "That's what exactly is happening to you now, because your mind is so much filled that what I'm giving you is overflowing. It's just going out of your mind." So it's the whole meaning of Tadividi Parimpare Prashnina Sevaya, that we have to be submissive. We have to actually, and this I think many other people have quoted, that we have to put our intelligence out when we come to a class, that we should not think, "Oh, I'm an intelligent person," and try and challenge the spiritual master or the speaker. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much. So, I was reflecting just briefly that, Prabhupada in this purport, he spent most of the time speaking about the deity form. So I was feeling a little bit bad that I spent time speaking about something else. The deity form is Krishna, always Krishna. And we try to take the mood of the spiritual master and try to understand the verses under his guidance. So please forgive me if I was not on the topic too much. And thank you, Prabhu, for your awesome analogy. And thank you, devotees, for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glory.